Yes, please.
I got these. We're going to do just one chorus and move on. This is Jerry's child, Sarah, and this is for Sarah. I remember, are you an F? You're on the wrong tune. Redhead striper tone. Glaucoma is not paying off, I can tell you that. Sarah's going to get 2 tunes, so congratulations, Sarah. For you, you're the one who said I love you too. I do. I remember you.
Okay, now we'd like to bring up, if it's okay with you, Clara, would you like to come up and speak a little bit? Clare Kachmar Heldman, the oldest of the Heldman clan.
These lights are really bright. I'm Clara. I'm Jerry's oldest daughter, and I didn't know what I was going to say tonight, so I was thinking, and when I was back there, what I was going to say, and I thought about bringing up some different memories, starting from when I was really young. And my dad used to talk about the Longolin, and one of the first memories, and I don't remember this, but he told me how I cut myself on a coffee table, and my lip was bleeding, and he brought me over to the Red Robin Cafe to take care of mine. That was when the Red Robin was a dive bar, and you know, Red Robin's a famous restaurant now. And he would talk over the years of all the famous people that came, and one of the things that my dad and I used to do is he used to pick up hitchhikers, but he and I used to hitchhike a few times, and we'd hitchhike to Jeannie and Tom's house up in the Quillicene, and we met so many people pick us up, and one time we got picked up by a prison warden, and he told my dad to be careful and not let anything happen to me. And then another time we stopped in Chehalis at a restaurant, and Grandpa took me in there just to use the restroom. We came out, and the waitress she said it's all in the house. She brought us a whole large meal, and my dad told me, he said, when you do good to people, they'll do good to you. And I remember that countless times all the people that he helped, and a few years ago, I was riding back from an event. We were listening to the jazz station. It was very, very early in the morning, and they came on the jazz station about Miles Davis, and he was talking about how he liked Miles Davis. So I learned about Miles Davis coming into concert, and I started calling up the radio stations and wanted free Miles Davis tickets and free dinner tickets. And my dad and I went to Miles Davis concert and got to meet Miles Davis right before he died. And my dad was a great dad, and he was a great grandfather, and he loved his Nettie. That's my daughter. He would call her Nettie, and before he died, my daughter would play countless hours on the piano for my father, and I miss him so much. I miss him so much. I miss his sense of humor. I miss his jazz. And I miss his praying. I miss whenever anything went wrong, he would say, just pray, Peanut, just pray. And I remember when I was younger, my dad had this hat, and he would always wear this hat, and I remember my mom always wanted to get rid of this hat, and I don't remember what happened to the hat, but he had this, and one day it disappeared, and he said, "Where's our hat?" And we have different stories about that hat, but when I was a little girl, younger, he would sometimes he'd be sitting like on his, he'd be sitting on a chair, and he would say, "Come over here." He said, he said, "This chair's not comfortable enough." He says, I need a pillow to sit on. You'll be my pillow." And so sometimes it seemed like, I mean, to a little girl, it seemed like I was stuck for hours, you know, being his pillow. And I would finally one day, I told him that I wasn't going to be his pillow anymore. But one of my friends who met my father a long time ago, she said, she's not here tonight because she's sick, but she said, "I only met your father twice." But she said, "I imagined that I met him 100 times because," she said, "he touched me like no one else." She said he was kind. She said she said you could tell that his heart was that big. And people just by meeting my dad would you know, if you met my dad, you went away feeling, and you felt blessed. And that's what I remember about my dad, is that he blessed so many people.
We're going to be sure. Okay. We're going to play a Miles Davis tune, Go For. We got pictures.
Yeah. So I guess we've got a moment here where we want to bring up all the cousins, the kids of the Heldman kids. It's like that. I got one too. So yeah, Christian, round them up and bring them up here and get a little photo op. Whatever we can do. Just watch the, yeah. You got it.
So if we could get all, I know a couple people have to leave, if we can get all the cousins and all their kids up here just to do a little photo op, photo shoot, that'd be great. Come on up, don't be shy.
And if it's Dad taking a picture, it's just hold on, you guys, hold on.
Like a meeting of the clans. was lovely. Nice little family you got. That's a big legacy for Jerry right there. That's a real legacy.
Here's old Miles Davis too.
down thick, Pops. Good. Do we have some more speakers, I believe. Jeannie, are you ready? Where is she? She's MIA. Okay. She'll be back. How are we doing tonight? Is everybody doing themselves? Great food. Make sure you take care of your bartenders and tippers. Some old friends of mine own this restaurant as well. And Tia and Steve, and their daughter Ramona and Miles. They're some old friends. And so it's really great. We want to thank Tia and Steve and everybody, Wayne, for letting us hold this event here. Very special for musicians to play in a place owned by musicians. And a memorial for musicians, so that's great. Todd, what do you think? I was going to ask you, Todd, would you like to come say something, man? Come on, Todd, come say a few words. I mean, you're so charismatic. Todd Hoffman, ladies and gentlemen. Old family friend.
Hi guys, I don't know most of you guys, but Jerry was an amazing man. He did something for me that was beyond anything I could ever expect anybody to do, but his giving was, I've seen it in all of his kids, you know, all his, most of you guys don't know me, but I went somewhere where most people don't want to go, and it's, okay, basically, this is tough for me. I know. Anyhow, Jerry was a good man, and he like everybody said, he gives, and you know, your life is it's just better for knowing him. And you know, I don't even know what to say. I'm a little nervous because I don't ever get up on stage. But Jerry was a good guy, and I see it through all his kids. His kids give just as much as he does, and I thank all of them for that as well. You know, because they've helped me as well throughout my life, as much as Jerry did, as much as Jerry's helped so many other people. You know, and that's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Well spoken. So we have some more, I was just talking with Eric Poe, we have some more performances coming up that we'll intersperse in with the session we got going on here, and then we'll of course open up the session for more people to sit in after the performances? Yes, something like that. So we're just going with the flow here. So I would like to see if Julia would come speak. Julia Heldman, would you please come up here and speak a little bit about your husband? There she is, Julia Heldman. Please give her a round of applause.
Just toward the very end of his life, Jerry he hadn't been able to do anything for weeks, months even, and then he woke up and he wanted to go to church on Sunday, and he didn't have quite the strength to go to the sanctuary, but he was in the back. And he had something very, very important to say. And we were chatting about repairs, things that needed to be done. It's an old church building, over 100 years old, always needs work. And he said, "Let's pray." And then he turned to his caregiver and said, "I want to pray for you." Tears just came to her eyes. And then he said to me, "You pray for her." So we did, and because he was always thinking of others. And then he had this strength that sometimes comes right before the end. And I had this fleeting thought, is this the storm before the end? Because he had lost all of his strength. And he couldn't walk, he couldn't do anything. I'll tell one sad thing, but In fact, I'm going to tell the sad thing. I asked the hospice nurse how the dementia was going to kill him, because it's a terminal. I mean, it's a diagnosis, and it has to have a thing that it does. And she said, well, he'll have a spoon in his hand, and he won't know what the spoon is for, and there'll be a bowl in front of him, he won't know what the bowl is for, and he won't know what food is, so he just won't eat, and that will be the end. But it didn't happen. The Lord took him more quickly. He had something in his lungs, so he didn't have to wait. But break your heart. The piano in the living room, he just really wanted to get to it, so he started wheeling his wheelchair over to it, and I think it might have helped him a little bit, but I think he did it by himself. He wanted to get there so much, and he didn't wheel his own wheelchair. People pushed him. And he went to the piano, and he lifted his hand, and he just put a finger down, and then he looked at his hand, and looked at the piano, and he didn't even have the strength to push a key down, and he looked at the piano like he didn't know what a piano was, or what his hand was supposed to do, and then he pushed himself away from it. And I knew that the music was gone. And that was just the very last few days, wasn't even a week before the Lord took him. But so he really had something to say at church. And he turned to the woman who wrote the bulletins, and he said, "Don't ever leave the name of Jesus out." That was very important to him. And then he looked at all of us and he said, "We need more Christmas." And that was his last sermon. And so that was Sunday. Monday, he wanted to go out and get a hamburger. Boy, anything he wanted to do, we were going to do it. So got his wheelchair lifted and, had a hamburger, was fine. Tuesday, he wanted to talk to someone, but they were at work, so he couldn't. Wednesday, nothing out of the ordinary. Thursday, he got very, very changed very much, got very, very frightened. And Thursday night, I called the hospice nurse. I said, "I think he's in pain." And Friday, a man from Alaska Fisherman, wonderful pastor, came just up our doorstep. I didn't expect him. Sat with Jerry. He said he felt him just, he didn't know what to pray for, that he be healed temporarily, or that healed eternally. And he asked the Lord, "Let me know by noon." And he just sat for hours at his bedside reading the scriptures that Jerry loved, and just praying with him. And at noon, Jerry stopped breathing. And he called us in, and Jerry started breathing again, but it was completely peaceful. And Jim actually left, and I was on the phone telling someone that Jerry was very sick, and the hospice nurse touched me and said, "He's gone. Peace." And he was so beautiful. He never kept his hands still, but his hands were still, and they were folded over his heart. And I looked at them, and I saw the most beautiful hands. And I just felt the music in them and the love in them. And his forehead didn't have one wrinkle, and he looked like he was asleep. And he's there, and he's here.
We're going to continue with some music now. Thank you, Julia. That was very honest. So, we have some other performances coming up from Eric Poe, who's an old friend of yours, as well as David Friesen. It was, that's right. He was a very good friend of Jerry's, great bass player in his own right. So, how about, what do you think, you'd be ready to perform here pretty quick, Eric? Is your crew here?
All here.
Okay.
Why don't you do something else and we'll get them situated and
Yeah, well, we're going to save that for later, but we're going to do a couple numbers, but we want you to come up after that. How's that sound, Pops?
This is on Jerry's child. And the next girl, yeah. What does that say, Harry?
Where are we at?
Caroline's going to help me out.
By the way, I wanted to thank Caroline for doing a lot of the organizing of this event. She was really together, and I know it's a really intense time to be organizing an event like this, so, you know, kudos to her for pulling it together, getting everybody together here so we could have an nice evening to celebrate Jerry.
Well then, where's the lovely Caroline? She's going to help me out.
Yes.
We're going to do that? Wow. This is directly from the Longolin. Anyhow, you going to help me, baby?
Just a little bit.
Okay. So we'll just go through this shot one time because I know that you can do it. I know. What am I doing? My heart is sad and lonely. I sigh for you, dear only. Why haven't you seen it? I'm all for you, body and soul. I spend my days in longing and wonder why it's me you're longing. I tell you I mean I'm all for you, body and soul. I can't conceive it, it's hard to see that you turn away. Romance. Are you pretending? It looks like the ending, unless I have one more chance to prove. Give my life a wreck you're making. You know I'm yours for just the taking. I surrender. A little horn for you. Body and soul. my life a wreck, making you know I'm yours for just the taking. I gladly surrender myself to you, body and another arpeggio. I gladly surrender myself to you, body and soul.
Let's give the band a big round of applause. We're going to take a short break and bring up some other performers. Nice job, Caroline.